Andrea Spessard, who will this month be 1-year anniversary since she joined our club. It's kind of hard to believe that she's only been here a year. I've been here 5. She's done more in a couple of months than I did in all the 5 years I've been here. Very impressive. Thank you. She joined our club, like I said, over a year ago now, or just a year. She spent most of her career managing large shopping malls across the U.S., which many of you women probably frequented, and probably some of us men got dragged along. She's been very involved in all of the projects, especially the Girls Empowerment Program over this past year, and she currently serves as the Vice President of the Community Projects Committee. I'd like to introduce and invite up Andrea.
Thank you, Joe, and welcome everyone. So serving as the lead of our Community Service Projects Committee for this year, it was important for me to research the 18 years of service projects that this club has achieved. If you're developing a plan for the future, it helps to know where you've been. So please stand if you have either, and again, we saw a show of hands earlier, thank you to Robin, but please stand if you have ever served as a project team leader, served on a project team, volunteered on any of our projects, or have supported us in any way. Yes, yes. All right, give yourselves a round of applause. And I know everyone on Zoom was standing at their seats at their home as well. But what that shows us is we are people of action. And everyone here is either a member or a friend of Rotary. And we appreciate all of our friends and volunteers of Rotary because you are help us to bring these projects to life and to impact our community, and that's our reason for being, is to serve our community. So Rotary International has 7 areas of focus, and we should be very proud of the fact that almost every single one of our projects falls into one of these 7 areas of focus. And if you're going to apply for a Rotary Foundation grant, it's very helpful to have your project fall into one of these 7 areas of focus. So the sources of funding that we use to serve our communities includes global grants through the Rotary Foundation, which is a multi-billion-dollar endowment, and that's how we, as Lee referenced earlier and Joe frequently references, we have been renowned for applying for global grants through Rotary Foundation, and we get back many times fold what we personally give from our club to serve our community. We have Rotary District grants that we have put to use, and we've had about 20 districts of other Rotary districts that have supported our service projects. We do our own fundraising locally in San Miguel, and we've had partner international Rotary clubs, about 80, that have supported our projects. So one of the areas in which we have achieved a lot in the last 18 years is education. So in literacy, going back to the founding of our club in 2005, and David Bossman is here, he's our remaining founding member from 2005. And so one of the projects early on was a rural community library project. And then that led to hundreds of books being donated to the Biblioteca, and David led that project way back in 2007. Step forward to 2018, there have been a lot of projects in between related to education, but the mobile library, Ivar Shaki, who's here today, led that project. It was a Rotary investment of $46,000 US, a collaboration with CASA, and the goal was to bring books every week to 10 communities in our compo of San Miguel, and to establish permanent libraries in the rural communities. So here's a photo of the mobile library. And hopefully some of you have seen it. And Ivar with some of the children. So then we have also donated towards computers for education. In 2009, Gary led a project where computers were donated to, it was a collaboration with Computadores por Jóvenes. And then in 2020, we donated laptops for students during the COVID shutdown, and they were identified by the Biblioteca Scholarship Committee. Other educational equipment that we have funded includes Suzuki musical instruments donated to a boys' orphanage, furniture and equipment purchased for the Casa de Los Angeles daycare, and we funded soccer uniforms for an orphanage school. And some of those projects also were managed by Gary Peterson, and some were managed by John Doherty. In 2012, David Bossman led a project where this club raised funds to buy art supplies for the Children's Art Foundation. And this was a very important program that still exists today. I've been familiar with it since its beginning as well. And the purpose of this foundation was that children learn through art. And art is such an important part of the development of a child. And sometimes, especially poorer children in poorer communities, find it difficult to learn to express themselves with words, but they can express themselves through art. And here are two pieces that actually I purchased about 12 years ago to help support this program that Rotary funded. And these are in my home and done by artists ages 9 and 12. And of course, this club was very excited to be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Escuela de Educación Especial, also known as ISMA. John Doherty, our member, is the director, and several of our members are on the board, including Ron Felton and Michael Murphy. So it was established in September 2012. There are no publicly funded schools for deaf children in the state of Guanajuato. And this school provides preschool through high school academic education. It teaches subjects including Spanish, Spanish Sign Language, math, and other typical school subjects. It also teaches the students vocational skills so that they have a skill when they graduate as a form of income. So this includes computer literacy, carpentry, sewing, cooking and baking, jewelry making and design, and recently leather crafting. So Rotary has funded almost $283,000 towards this, and this has been a collaboration with other Rotary clubs and the San Miguel Community Foundation. So we look at the results of the last 10 years. Truly amazing. 48 students have been served. These are deaf students for whom there were no resources for education prior to this school being developed in San Miguel. 210 family members have been served and trained in Spanish Sign Language. 36 teachers have been trained. One of their graduates has now graduated from university with a degree in education, and she is now teaching at this school. There's 4 high school graduates, 3 are in their final year of high school, and 12 are middle school graduates. So here's a photo of the children learning to play chess, which was really fascinating to watch with sign language. Here's gentlemen in their carpentry workshop. And if you've not ever had an opportunity to tour the school, I highly recommend that you do so the next time a tour is available. It's very, very impressive. We took our district governor there last year. And then the school was very fortunate to receive a van earlier this year so that they can go and pick up the children for whom they had no other form of transportation. And then it's always very exciting to see their smiling faces and their sense of accomplishment when they graduate. Another Rotary project focused on housing, and in 2008, the club funded construction of a Casita Linda home using the dried bricks method. And then we've had many projects in the category of health. So in 2008, we funded equipment and teaching materials for a hospice in San Miguel. In 2009, there was a significant diabetic retinopathy project to purchase special camera and laser equipment for Hospital General, and that was led by Maggie, Gary, and Lee. And then in 2016, we funded medical equipment for the Midday Rotary hospice. In 2014, this club presented the first end-of-life nursing education and physician education program to 100 doctors and to 100 nurses. It was the first end-of-life hospice care taught in the public hospital system in Mexico. In the area of community safety, John Doherty led a project in 2010 where we provided funding to purchase and restore 2 used fire trucks for the fire department of San Miguel. Then we go to the environment. We've had a lot of projects that have benefited the environment, and we continue to do so. In 2013, there was a project led by John, and it developed and produced thousands of Ecoceno stoves, which were ecological stoves that significantly reduce the amount of trees have to cut down to use for firewood. So that was an investment of $50,000 US, and we collaborated with Apoyo for the distribution of those stoves. So from 2017 till this year, we've planted 181 trees in 12 locations. Nate, a former president of this club, headed up that program, and when he moved back to the States, our Fred Collins took over the project, so thank you to Fred. So here are 2 of the tree planting teams. So thank you if you've ever joined us for planting our trees. And then water and sanitation. This is a category for which we have become renowned in San Miguel and throughout our district. So in 2008, Enrique, our member, led a project where we funded rainwater harvesting pilot program in the community of San Miguel Viejo. And then in 2009, the next year, we funded water testing equipment for SEDESA, and SEDESA has become our project collaborator for our water projects. And then in 2009, we funded rain harvesting water cisterns for 90% of the families in Los Torres. And that initiated the formation of COSIRA, which has become the local Rural Council for Water, which worked with 8 communities and ultimately worked with 20 more communities. In 2017, we funded the support of COSIRA members to attend 120-hour certification training. And that created community leaders on water and sanitation. And all we had to do for that was contribute $2,000. In 2014 and to this day, we've secured and have been continuing to use global grants to fund rain harvesting water cisterns in our rural communities. This has addressed the problem of a lack of clean water in our communities and the dangerously high levels of arsenic and fluoride in the well water that these communities have available to them. So this has been a collaboration with SEDESA, COSIRA, and the San Miguel Community Foundation, and we have invested $900,000 US, and we've built almost 1,500 cisterns to this day. So Carla referenced our cisterns earlier, and we have 3 other dates coming up. So September 9th is the next one. So if you've never attended one of our inaugurations for water cisterns and dry composting toilets, I highly recommend that you do so. It's always a celebration. The community members are so appreciative of this opportunity for clean water. When you attend these inaugurations, and I'm still learning Spanish, so I nod and I smile, and they think I'm understanding every word that they say. But that's all it takes, is a nod, a smile, and eye contact, and they give you the warmest hug and the greatest lunch afterwards, and they're so appreciative. And they thank God, and they thank Rotary, and they thank Lee Carter, every time we're out there. And we go back to these cisterns every few years to help paint, because they need to be repainted to be resealed so they don't leak. So we send teams out, so there's opportunities every year to join us with these cistern projects. So the next project related to water that piggybacked on the rain harvesting water cisterns became the dry composting toilets, starting in 2018 and continuing to this day. And this addresses the problem of a lack of bathrooms in the homes of many of these rural communities, and it provides safety and dignity. So we again have collaborated with SEDESA, COSIRA, and the San Miguel Community Foundation, and we've built 191 of these dry composting toilets to date, and we have invested over $308,000. So it's always fun to see them when we arrive for the inaugurations, and they've got balloons, and they have a ribbon that we're going to cut, and it's been amazing and over the last year to see them. They're so excited, the community pride, the whole community comes out for one of these inaugurations. And they're just so proud of their fellow citizens in their communities. And it's really been fun to see how they've gotten creative with color. They paint them bright colors, they use bright tile, they add beautiful sinks. And again, if you haven't seen one of these, please do come join us for one of these inaugurations. Here's one of our teams at one of our inaugurations over the past year, and again, it's a celebration in their community. So we participated in the March 1st annual San Miguel Water Fair that took place in Plaza Civica, and we look forward to many more. Our booth was right beside the Caminos de Agua booth. Thank you, Dorothy. So this thank you to the team members who joined us there for that day. It was a great first annual water fair for San Miguel. We've also worked with people in the community with whom we've worked on the inaugurations for the water cisterns and the dry composting toilets. We've established since 2019 7 beekeeping co-ops, which obviously is great for the environment. It provides honey for the families, and then honey from which they can make products to sell for a source of income. So if you ever have an opportunity to visit one of the tours of one of our beekeeping co-ops, I highly recommend it. They give you one of those suits to wear, so it's not a problem. Another area in which we've excelled in this club in San Miguel is peace building, which is very important to Rotary International. In 2017, Tom Snyder led a project with our club, and we funded a UNESCO Peace Monument in Parque Juarez here in San Miguel. The message on 4 sides says, "May peace prevail on earth." And it's in Spanish, English, Otomí, Nahuatl, Braille, and Mexican Sign Language. And the monument was constructed of pink cantara stone, just like the parroquia. And it was a collaboration with our friends at Club Rotario, our Spanish-speaking club here in San Miguel, and Camino de la Paz. And our investment was $18,000. And we hold peace events there periodically throughout the year. This was the spring equinox event. We also held another event later this spring in May, where we had a pass-off from Club Rotario to our club, late April, of the peace sculpture that had made its way throughout our entire district. And when we met in Guadalajara for the first week of May, district conference in Guadalajara, All of the peace sculptures that had been traveling around our district were there, and Jose de Anda from our club represented us with some wonderful remarks. And then in 2017, after the large earthquake in Mexico City, people in San Miguel had a candlelight vigil from the Jardín to Parque Juarez to our peace monument, because it's a place to reflect, to pause and reflect on peace right here in our town. And if you weren't aware, there is a time capsule that's buried beneath the Peace Monument. And it contains messages from 500 children and 100 adults with the responses to these questions. What does peace mean to you now? And what is your hope for peace in 50 years? And the time capsule is to be opened on the United Nations Peace Day on September 21st, 2067. So we hope that the younger members of our club will be there. And we hope they'll be thinking of us. So here are two of the messages in that time capsule from some of the children. And basically, I saw a lot of common threads to their message, what they want in 50 years. And it's that wars will have ended, that people will have peace, tranquility, love, and friendship. So I think we all have a lot to learn from children. Another area in which we've funded projects is community economic development. So Norman Feldstein, who's here today, welcome back, Norman, helped us collaborate with Apoyo to fund, in the last 2 years, interest-free microloans to assist individuals with either building a business or expanding a business. And it includes training workshops on the topics of English, computer literacy, home health, personal and social development. And 34 loans have been distributed to date, and they average 6,600 pesos per loan. That's all it takes. It's between $250 and $500 US to start a business or to expand a business here. And so far we have contributed $15,000, about 226,000 pesos. And of those 34 loans, they're going to men and women, again, to help start or expand a business. 96% of these loans are being paid back within 1 to 2 years. And then those funds are put back in to fund new loans. So here are two of the women that have received these loans, these microloans, with our funds. And then this is a project we started this year, but the planning started a year ago, and you've heard a lot about it this year. But the category of menstruation, education, and health is very important worldwide to Rotary International. So in January of this year, we signed a contract with the Secretary of Education of the state of Guanajuato, and Terry Kavanaugh, who's back with us. Welcome back, Terry. Terry is our team leader for that project. And we've been teaching since January 5th and 6th grade girls to empower them to become healthy, safe, and wise. We give them the tools, the education, the self-esteem, the empowerment to make wise decisions for themselves. And at the end of 5 days, they not only can stand up taller and be able to introduce themselves and look you in the eye with more self-confidence, but they understand their bodies more and what they're going through. And at the end of that 5 days, when they receive, at their graduation from the program, a reusable menstrual health hygiene kit. It's amazing. They hug this to their chest, and you can just tell that for some of them, this is the very first real new thing they've ever owned in their life, because they've been wearing hand-me-down clothing, shoes, school uniforms if they have them. Everything they have is hand-me-down, and they're just so proud to have their colorful fabrics, and they're beautiful, and they're taught how to use them, and it's just truly amazing. So far, since January, we have taught 905 girls in 37 schools out in the Campo. And our grassroots funding, before we were able to get our grant, we've spent $35,000 that we raised through our club and our friends of our club. And we just secured a $91,000 grant, global grant, from the Rotary Foundation, and we will then be able to serve over 1,000 additional girls. So here's a photo, and we have thousands of these photos because we have our teachers that we've paid to have trained to go out, and we take them out every day. But it's truly amazing. This is just one representative photo that shows the participation of these girls and our teacher, and they really develop a bond with each other. And you can see in the photo that there are some of these reusable hygiene kits, and they're taught how to use them, and they're just so proud to go and pick the one with the colors they want, or the flowers or the butterflies. And it's just truly amazing to watch lives being transformed. And we're not only transforming the lives of these girls, but their families and their communities as well. And thanks to our volunteer drivers, such as Kim, we are able to spend the money we've raised on this program to pay our teachers and to buy these reusable menstruation hygiene kits. So thank you to all of our drivers. To give you an idea of some of the programs that we participate in internationally, so as we have other clubs and districts support our programs, we are able to, through global grants, support other programs. And two of the ones in which we're serving as an international partner in the area of education, one is serving youth who are aging out of the foster care system through a global grant with the Thousand Oaks Rotary Club. And that global grant was $77,000. Then there's a second one where we're serving at-risk youth in a global grant of $56,000. And those children are already in trouble. They've been in trouble with the law. They have one more shot at it. It's a case where the judge gives them an opportunity to participate in this program, or you're going to spend the rest of your life in jail. So this program is teaching them classic car and antique auto restoration training with the Carmel by the Sea Rotary Club. And this is their last chance to get on the straight and narrow. And so we can feel good about global grant monies going towards saving those children's lives. So last month, we participated in a program that was led by Club Rotario, and we collaborated also with Rotaract Club here in San Miguel and Hope Haven West in California and in Mexico. And we distributed over 200 custom-adjusted wheelchairs to severely disabled children. And they were aged from 1 to 18 years old, from poor families. And our investment was $9,400. That was for over 200 wheelchairs. These families came and purchased these wheelchairs for 1,000 pesos, so for about $55, because they needed that pride of ownership. They needed to be able to say, I bought this wheelchair for my child. And when they carried these children in over 4 days, it was heartbreaking and warming at the same time. When they came in and they were carrying their child because they'd never had a wheelchair, or a few that did have wheelchairs when they came in, they'd outgrown them, or they were in broken down condition. It was just truly amazing. Lined up, so thank you to all of our volunteers who helped with this project. The children were adorable. I mean, this little girl on the right was one of my favorites. She touched my heart, the biggest smile. She's holding the hands of the technician who had just spent an hour adjusting the chair specifically for her. And thank you to all of the volunteers who helped us with registration, checkout, adjusting chairs. We have some new wheelchair technician specialists in the room now, especially Greg and Eddie. So another project we got involved with last month was the blood drive that took place at Hospital General. And we have a potential future project with this club that's in the research phase to address the problem of a lack of a blood bank in San Miguel. The hospitals here have to get their blood from blood banks in Querétaro and larger cities. So we thank President Joe for donating blood. And we thank our own Jose de Anda, who donated blood that day for the very first time. Another area in environment with which we have a lot of passion in this club is reforestation. So 2 weekends ago, 3 of us from our club drove to Michoacan, and we planted trees at El Rosario Monarch Butterfly Sanctuary with our Rotary district. And this involves a multi-year project to plant 60,000 trees at this butterfly sanctuary. It was just absolutely beautiful. I look forward to returning in January, February, when we actually can see the monarch butterflies. And here's proof that Lee and Jose were actually hard at work digging holes and planting trees. Then we'll have another project in the area of environment, water, and reforestation that's in the phase of research and development. And it's a multifaceted project. It would involve the Presa cleanup, Presa Allende, Lirio cleanup and maintenance. As we know, it now has covered 74% with the Lirio. We are working with experts on the development of uses for that Lirio, including composting. We would like to educate school children, their parents, and communities about how to maintain trees. We would plant trees near the schools and near water reservoirs, including fruit trees, which would help address the food desert situation, and remediation of abandoned water reservoirs, which are throughout San Miguel. So as you can see, we've been very busy as a club over the last 18 years. And we will continue to be for the next 18 years and beyond. And as you can see, some of these projects are one-day type of projects, some are short-term and some are long-term. But again, thank you to everyone who's participated or led any of our projects. So thank you.